Can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Hold on. Come on. Come on, Skype. No, eh? Maybe let me try again. Conversations. Stop sharing screen. Share screen. Start. Yeah, you clicked on my name on the current calls? Yeah?
Yep, it's there.
You can see my screen, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing now is we're kind of building out our departments here. So you'll see on my sidebar, I've got Operation Sprint, Operation Task, Operation Backlog. And I've just starred those three. Same thing with Finance, Finance Sprint, Task, Backlog. And same thing with Product Dev. And this is the ones I want you to star this week is so Product Dev Sprint, Product Dev Task, and Product Dev Backlog. And you can add them as your favorites, you know, like up on the thing here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm just going to make you a member of them, but I'll show you how we did the finance one, so just know what's going on. So basically the way we run the shop is, you know, we've got 3 folders that are important for every department. And if we take a look at the finance sprint, I'll just run this through you quickly here, but we've got the long-term vision, yeah? And we haven't written anything yet, but we will have something. We have 3 to 5 year targets, you know, 1 year priorities, and then Q2 goals. That's for the next 90 days. And for the finance team, like me and Lisette just talked about some stuff. We have the merchant account system, QuickBooks, payments. It's getting QuickBooks set up. That's the accounting stuff. Yada yada yada. Payment system for Filipino bank. You know, for banks.
Yeah.
So get away from PayPal or whatever. And then all the admin files in Dropbox. So like shareholders. I got to do this stuff. So like incorporation docs, shareholders agreement, etc. You know, goal, etc. So that's like the kind of way we work it. And then the sprint is a 2-week goal setting period, right? And because you're pretty busy, so I'm not going to give you too much to do. Like Lisette's working for us 20 hours a week, but you're already full. So I just kind of want to, you know, as things come up, just give you a way to add things into the backlog. So basically the sprint is every 2 weeks we set goals, and these are like the main new things we're trying to achieve, right? It's like, what are the new building blocks that we need to build in this department to make these quarterly goals a reality, right? Because it's like, you know, we could take these 90 days and we just break it down into 2-week periods, and then we do these 2 weeks things. So right now, for example, Lisette's going to set up QuickBooks. She's going to set up the chart of accounts. There's like all these things we got to do. So the next folder, and every 2 weeks we just like review all these, and then we create the next version of it, right? So it's like, what are the new things we can do in the next 2 weeks? Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of the system. It's like these 2-week feedback loop that gives us the quarterly goals, and that will create the long-term vision. So the next folder is called tasks, and these are things that come up like day to day. So it's like, for example, let's say something breaks or like something's not working and you need me to fix it, or I need you to do something really quick. And it's not like a 2-week goal. It's more like a 1 day, maybe a 10-minute thing or half an hour thing, you know? You can put in the task folder. So the task folder is kind of like a bucket that needs to get emptied out every day, or at least looked at every day of things that need to get done that are small but important. Yeah? Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then the backlog is the area where we put in things that we think about or they come up, but we don't want to work on them right now. We'd rather look at them, let's say every 2 weeks. It's like, okay, well, let's look at the backlog and grab any things that we think is we could do, you know, that's important. So like a good example is, let's say I'm on the website and I'm working and I have this great idea. It's like, oh, it would be fantastic if we had this feature. And I know that our sprint is already pretty busy. Like it's like we don't have enough time to do the next 2 weeks, and we shouldn't start on it anyway. But let me add it to the backlog, and then at the end of the 2-week period, we can go in and we can just look through it all and be like, okay, what is the most important thing in the backlog right now? And then we can add it into their add it into the sprint. You know, we'll prioritize it and then add it into the sprint. It's kind of like the daily strategic plan. We like prioritize the tasks, and then make them ready for the day. So
Okay.
when you're working with the team, and what's going to happen is they're going to ask questions. They're going to be like, "Can you fix this?" or "Why isn't this working?" and stuff like that. What I would love you to do is get in a good habit of adding these things to the backlog, right?
Okay.
So that for us, we have this feedback loop because you're kind of the contact, and we have this feedback loop of things that need to get done, right? It's like things that we need to add, and then what we can do is move them from the backlog into the sprint or the task folder every 2 weeks so that we can accomplish them, right? So it's like we collect all the ideas in the backlog and then we set them in motion in the sprint and task, right? So for example, I was just talking with Denise and her question was like, she doesn't know what team folder she's in, right? She doesn't know, like there's a part in the training that didn't really explain that. And so she asked me, I'm like, okay, here, you're in team 1 and Jen is your manager, right? But as soon as she asked me that question, I know we have to improve the system. And so instead of working on it right now, I just went to the backlog and it's like helping the sidekicks know what team folder they're in, how to add them, yada, yada, yada. And so we could meet up, and even yourself, if you have free time, you can look in the backlog for ideas, and these are things that need to get done, right?
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense. So it's like these are new features we need to build, and we can have meetings about it and set the strategy together. But especially in the Academy template area, if there's things that you have ideas for or things that come up, just add them in here first so they're all organized, and then we can set them in motion one way or the other. Or if it's something that is really urgent and needs to be fixed right away and doesn't take very long, we can just add it to the product dev tasks, and maybe I'll assign it to you, or eventually if we get someone else to help out with improving the system, they can do that too. And so it's really up in the air. And like you right now, who I think who are you working for now that the midwife thing is done?
No, just Clint and Mona.
And
then just checking with the people are on onboarding.
Okay, so Clint, Mona. Okay, let's do Sidekicks internal, 10 hours a week. And if you want, you said, did you want to work more than 40 hours a week, or 40 is more than enough? Like,
no, not anymore. Not at the moment.
You said what?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. What? Not more than 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
40 is enough for the week. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, and we're gonna increase your salary here because you're working on our stuff. I just have to have a meeting with Eric about it. So I'll get to that pretty quick. So with Mona 10 hours a week, right? And then Clint 20. Okay. So that's great. So you've actually got time then. So 10. In that case, then you're managing everyone, which is good. And then what I'll start doing is giving you things to do to improve the training area. Like the system.
Yeah.
And then likewise, if you have ideas as they're going through, so you can help us build out the product. Like, in terms of the backlog, like these things right now, I'm just going to add these to the task. I'll just add these to the sprint for you. So Jen, I'll put these due like on Monday, and I'll add them to the product dev sprint. So like, oops, product dev sprint. If you have any questions on how they go, just comment or whatever, or talk to me. Like, let me just. Yeah, and so what we're doing is just improving the master so that it gets better all the time, right? I think you get the idea. Okay, and then what we can do after, maybe not today, but over time, we can add the Q2 goals, so that we know where we're going. April to June. So I think for me, top 5 strategic goals here for product dev. One of them is basically it's like fully functional and automated HR or onboarding. Right, so it's like goal, 100% smooth onboarding process from hire to ready for clients, right? For sidekicks, right? And we still got a lot of bugs and things coming together, but that's one thing that we're just trying to get better at, right? And then the other thing too would be it's like focus on creating a smooth feedback cycle loop because all the ideas on how to improve stuff are going to come from people actually going through it, right? So it's like, how do we collect all the information from them as they're going through it, and then how do we dump it into one place so that we can keep improving the system? So do you kind of have an idea of how that works now?
Yeah, I think I'll create like a Google form that they can use at the end of every training day. Just so once they submit the form, it's all in the spreadsheet that we can just check back like every day or weekly, and all the ideas are there.
Fantastic. That sounds fantastic. Yeah. And then what about individual tasks? Like when they comment on tasks in the training, do you get those notifications or what?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So that same thing. If it's like with those comments, we could somehow turn those into actionable tasks for for the product dev stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I also, because I assigned a task to Aaron
Yeah.
a while back for the feedback part, because right now they're putting their feedback in the comment in Asana. So I'm thinking of doing it. I'm doing a Google Forms as well for the questions, and he finished it already. I'll just probably share it with you so you can check it if you'd like it.
Sounds awesome. Yeah. Sounds awesome. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. That's really going to help a lot. And these feedback loops are really important. So yeah, that sounds good for the sprint right now. I'll just put those up for on Monday or whatever. And these are some small edits you can do over the next few days. And yeah, sounds good. So that's kind of the structure now. So like you and me in product dev, Lisette on finance, Eric and Carlo in operations, Till in tech. And then the next thing we're going to build out is kind of the sales and marketing stuff.